About 2
Is it
weeks
working?
before I graduated
It's
from
on.
college.
Is it looking at anybody?
Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill only?
Because it kept
And
coming
he-
back, I need
Come
proof
over
of
here.
this. So, you know, it was a mailing
Look at that.
thing,
Zoom,
and,
zoom
you
in.
know.
When did Dad ever
Point
tell
somewhere
you
else, just grab
he was
this
born
and-
out of wedlock?
Okay.
I mean, he
Yeah, eventually, you know, I mean.
This
I was
thing is
gonna-
recording.
I was
Uncle Bill,
gonna
today's
find
your
out when the
birthday.
paperwork
Today's your
went
birthday.
through.
What is today? How old are you? Who are you?
76. Who am I?
Yeah.
I am William Joseph Gilbert.
William Joseph Gilbert. You were born when?
1929, December 28th.
And today's the 28th. It's your birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. And your mama, was she born in England or Jamaica?
She was born in Jamaica.
Jamaica. That's not
Well, you were telling me earlier she was born in a certain town in
Kingston.
Kingston.
Kingston, Jamaica, man.
Well,
In
you.
Kingston Town.
In Kingston town. We were just
You wanna buy some ganja?
It was a couple miles from Hope Garden.
Garden.
Hope Garden. And what was that? That port that they burnt up?
The burnt up port.
Port Elizabeth.
The burnt up port. The burnt up port.
I call it Black Port.
No, there's a port there that they.
It had a different name, but now it's called Black Port.
Mhm. Well, tell me this. How did your parents meet? And what were their names? Full names.
John Frederick Gilbert. My father's name, Susan Elizabeth
Oh.
Hall.
Yes. And they had how many kids?
There was 6.
And your mother, she was cruising through? She
No,
lived there?
no.
She worked there?
Her,
Building of the Panama
her,
Canal.
what it was, her sister went down there. And, her name was, I forgot her name now. We always called
called
her
her-
Mrs. Ruby Sable.
Ruby Sable, yeah.
Yeah, Ruby
I was gonna
Sable.
say, you forgot Ruby's name?
Yeah, Ruby Sable. And she went down there first. And she had a couple kids and she took them down. And then after she brought my mother down, my father was in the army down there. And he went down in the army, he went down there, it was about, I'd say about 1950, 60, he went down there in the army. And he met my mother down there. And they got married from the civil court in Panama. In those days, you had to get permission from your commanding officer.
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't really married.
According to the officials.
Yeah.
But
according to
Panamanian law, he
Yeah,
was married.
okay, but there's more to the story. So one day, my mother's hanging up her clothes, and this letter falls out, and she reads it. It's from his brother, telling him that his wife had just died. So
He wasn't going to tell her
He had never told her
that he had a wife.
that he had a wife.
Was still married.
And my mother found out that he was still married, but she was married. He was married in the States. But,
Wow.
There's a little crisis
so he
going
was more or
on.
less the big
That's a
one.
rough stuff.
That was his drill, huh?
So, anything else you want to know?
No, I wanted y'all to keep talking like it was normal, and then my husband disappeared.
Yeah, well, that's typical of it.
Okay.
Was Grandpa considered pretty much an alcoholic? Or some
No.
of the stories
You
are
can
Oh.
write it all down for your children.
No, he was not an alcoholic, but
It's
he loved to
being filmed.
drink. Okay?
He's
There's a
being
difference
filmed.
between an alcoholic needs that liquor.
All right. What,
My father drank all his life, and when the doctor told him, if you don't stop drinking, it's going to kill you, and it's going to shorten your life. That next day, he walked into the bar, the bartender saw him coming, and he'd get like a water glass and fill it up with his booze, because he'd take that as a shot of whiskey, as a water glass, and he'd drink that down. And so when my father walked him and he started doing it, my father says, no, just give me a Coke. And from that day on, that's all he drank, was Cokes. He'd go in the bar room and all. And here was a man who used to spend practically all his money on booze, going to the liquor store and buying a fifth of Kentucky Cream, and then also going in the bar room and drinking, you know. And whatever money he had left, he was giving my mother, he said, well, this is to run the house with. You got 6 kids, you know, this is the money you use to run the house. And then my mother used to go into his pants and all, and he still had money stashed away. And she used to take. And he'd say, hold on, I'm sure, I know I had some more money in there and all I got. And my mother said, well, you must have lost it out in the street. So later he used to say, you know, I never get robbed in the street, but I come home, I get robbed.
It was her money. She
Yeah.
kept the house, it was her money.
Rough around the edge.
My mother had 2 dresses. She had a house dress
Her Sunday dress.
and a dress to go out with, and that's all she had
Yep. And she may do with less so everybody else could have more.
for the kids.
That's
Yeah.
wild to find out that,
Someone could have his liquor.
Yeah.
that's-
Your mother always spoke with a Jamaican accent.
Yes.
I found that charming. Were you able, can you still mimic it?
Oh, yes. What you want me to say, Charlie?
If she were to call you in from the street, what would she say?
Bill, get your Ross in here. No, my mother was a lady. She wouldn't use that kind of language. And she was a perfect lady. My father, on the other hand, wasn't a gentleman. Every other word that came out of his mouth was a curse word. And I had, over the period of years, I've developed that I can't stand to be around anybody to curse. And my father, every other word would come out, and she'd say, especially using, he'd say, Jesus Christ. She'd say, Johnny, please do not use the Lord's name in vain. He said, well, God damn it. And he'd come out like that, you know. And she used to get after him all the time. My father used to get quite drunk, and he tried to hit my mother one time. She cold-cocked him. She wouldn't take it. She said, no man's going to lay a hand on me.
Yeah.
And
Good
she
for
cold-cocked
her.
him, yeah.
What were some of the great things or good things about your dad that you remember? No, I'm just saying, you must have, did he take you to play baseball?
No.
Spend some
The
time
only
with
good
you?
thing my father ever did, with me anyway, is we'd go see cowboy movies. And that was
Together?
Yeah, he loved cowboy movies, and he'd go there. We had to go to the theater, which was about a block away, and like the movie started at 6:30. So we'd start off, only a block away, we'd start off at about 5 o'clock to go to the movie. Because my father stopped everybody in the street and talked to them before he got to the movie.
That's funny. When he came out of the States, he was actually in the Army. That's how he ended up having good protection. Then when his Army time was done, he decided to stay. And
Well,
because
see,
he was,
the first time,
he was on a gold
yeah,
plan, right?
the gold roll, yeah. What happened on the first tour, he got out of the Army. And then he went back in years later, but he was over the age. And he lied about his age to get back into the Army. Because actually, there was no life for him there. And so he went back in the Army. He was a cook. He was a cook in the Army. And when he got out of the Army,
Don't get in front of
he,
the camera.
Gatun Clubhouse. Okay, Gatun Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
He was actually went to Gatun Clubhouse in the bakery section. He was a baker up there. That was his first job after he got out of service.
So you all lived in Gatun?
No,
They weren't even
we
around.
weren't even around then.
Oh, he was by himself.
Yeah, he just got out of the Army. And your father, I wasn't even born
Well, I understand that he built the Panama Canal single-handed.
Almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Tell us what his jobs were.
Uh-oh, I screwed it up.
Oh, crap. All right.
Well, it was pointed more at Sue, not at Uncle Bill.
You see, you never want to give an engineer something like that to handle.
Hey, John! Help! John!
Johnny, I gotta tell you a story about your brother.
Off the record, I say, go ahead.
He tells me he needs this
When you
soap.
say you messed it up, what do you mean?
So I go out and I buy
I mean, there's
2 or
not
3 of
one.
them. No, I bought 2 of them.
Stop it and start it again.
No,
Sue.
don't. It's still recording.
So I went ahead, bought the 2 things of soap. He comes there and he tells me, hey, these things aren't any good. He says, I even took the top off and tried to run water in it. The thing's not working.
It's still okay. Is
He
it
gives
still
it back to
recording?
me. Johnny, I did this.
The cable's just loose to the screen.
Oh, and
Oh,
this
okay.
had to turn it, yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Keep
Fine.
going. It
So
never
that was
stops.
the problem.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, just.
That was the story about me, that you were complaining about me.
Did you say anything about the crane? Did he work the biggest cranes?
No, whoever said that,
Gene.
No, it was Gene Boniver.
Yeah, he's-
Put it on the
He's
internet
striking.
that he worked the biggest
now,
cranes.
this is the job my father had. He ran what they call a drill press, making holes in pieces of metal. He did that for quite a while. A man by the name of Woodman.
Yeah, old man Woodman
Yeah.
kind of took the family under the wing, right?
Well, Woodman ran the crane. He ran the crane. And my father took the crane over after he retired and ran the crane. And all it is
It's not a
nowadays,
real crane.
yeah, actually, it's a little control. It's in the shop. And
It's an overhead crane.
yeah, overhead
All
crane.
you can do is you can go down to the shop and back.
Yeah.
And you can make the hook go left and right.
Yeah.
That's all you
And nowadays, they don't even go up there. They have a little control and they
need.
walk with it.
Replaced by a,
You give me an idea how big this crane is. Is it 10 feet tall? Is it 20 feet tall? Is it
it's
30
probably
feet tall?
40 foot in the air.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it spans probably 25 feet.
And what
Yeah.
was it used for? Lifting a couple of pipes?
No, not only
Steel,
pipes, steel.
Angles, beams.
And you were moving it, what, from a boat into...
No,
No,
you're
it-
moving from one part of the shop to the other.
Yeah.
So it's inside an enclosed area?
Yeah, in other words, they're welding, they're doing different work.
Did
The
he build the
Boilermakers are
canal or
doing something to it. Huh?
Did he build the
You know
canal
that
or
story,
not?
right? Gene Boniver.
Yeah, I know that about big crane, the outlets.
Yeah, no, Gene Boniver, I'm looking on the Panama
My
Canal
family.
net, right?
Yeah, he just said it was his family that
Gene
built the
says,
canal.
well, the biggest crane was the Thor, and my grandfather
My
ran that.
grandfather, great.
And I'm like, wait, it's the same grandfather, I know what he did.
Yeah, it was either, it was one step, I'd say, when he was running the drill press, one step above the labor.
Mhm.
Okay, one step above.
Actually, Dad told me our grandpa was a gold helper for many years.
Because,
Stepped him up to
Yeah.
the drill press, and
Yeah.
that's, you know,
exactly.
pretty simple.
And-
And actually, who was the guy? There was a well-placed guy who kind of took the family, would show up with fruit and Christmas, and the guy had a little money. Anyway, the story I got from Dad was that he arranged to, when Woodman left, and they put Dad, Grandpa, up
Yeah.
in the overhead crane, so he'd get his high 3 retirement a little bit more than a labor. So. Yeah, well, he was not responsible for the building of the Panama Canal
Because.
or
He
driving
said it
the
was his
biggest
family.
crane.
I think,
His
I
family
think
did it.
Gene Boniver, it was either, probably the Hercules that was the biggest crane they
I
had
thought
there.
the Thor was bigger than the
Huh?
Hercules. The Thor and the Hercules were
Yeah.
twins.
Yeah.
Well, they were twins, yeah.
And they
so-
were big. They were 850-ton cranes.
And actually,
At the
it,
turn of the century, which is
The
huge.
biggest in the world.
and not only that, you know, you go through apprenticeship on those things.
Mhm.
They're
Everything's
enormous.
steamed. Really.
Yeah, and they, you know, they go out there and they're doing dredging work and whatnot. They stay out there, they have their kitchen, they got their mess deck and everything, you know.
I wanna ask you a real quick question. When John, my son, interviewed you years ago, you said that your father left home when he was maybe 16. His mother remarried, and the
yeah,
stepfather
well,
and he weren't getting along.
Yeah, about 16, 17 years old. Actually, he cold-cocked his stepfather, put
When you
a cut
say
on
cold
his eye.
cock, what does that mean?
Knock him out.
Knock him completely out or
Yeah.
somewhat
All right,
out?
when you hit a person and you knock him out, I cold cock.
Yeah.
COLD, COCKED. Okay.
So,
Out
knocked him out,
Knock him out.
and so he took off from home.
that moment.
So he
And what town did he live in?
a place called Sunbury, Pennsylvania.
Sunburg,
No, Sunbury.
Barry.
Berry,
It's not
Sunbury.
far from Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my father took off, and when he took off like that,
I think he was younger, Bill, because I remember being told he got through like 3rd or 4th grade.
oh yeah, no, yeah, he only went to what they call the first reader,
Yeah,
okay?
3rd grade.
He could read a little bit and just barely write his name. My mother could just barely write her name. She couldn't read.
I remember Grandpa showing me addition, and he goes, and he goes,
Yeah.
now, you borrow the 10 from up here, and then at the end of the question, he said, now you borrowed it, you gotta pay it back. And I'm like, well, what? So he put 10 more back there, and I go, wow, that's too weird.
Now you see where I get my style of adding and
I
subtracting.
only got 2 hours on this CD.
Yeah. So,
Well,
so anyway,
Don't
My
stay,
office is
stay,
small.
honey, don't go.
Yeah,
You
All
stay.
right.
go ahead.
So he left, and now something
Yeah,
about
well, he
hobo.
traveled as a hobo on the freight
Oh,
train.
get out of here.
On the freight train, he traveled from place to place and got little, little jobs here and there, you know? And he lived like in a boarding house. and
I'm looking
everything
for
else.
that redeeming feature. That's really what I'm looking for. That scholarly feature.
Yeah, but he did, that's how he traveled from place to place. He'd hop on a freight train.
Really?
So how did he get down to Panama? Did he hop a train
No,
all the way
he
down
joined
there?
the army.
Oh,
He joined the army and went down there. And that's how he ended up. And he was quite the gambler, he liked to gamble.
and he had a dog too, so tell him about the gambling and the dog.
Oh, he had this dog, Jennifer. Dog, Jennifer.
You gotta listen about Jennifer.
And Jennifer, he used to have this dog on the base, and they finally, the dog was fighting these other dogs, the captains and whatnot. And so they told him he had to take the dog off the base. And he used to use this dog, the dog fights, and gamble on the dog. And he kept it down to a friend of his that had this bar, and he kept the dog down there. The dog would win all the fights. He was a heck of a fighter. So my father got a call one time and said, you better get down here, the dog's pretty sick. So he went down there and all that. The dog just looked like it just stayed alive long enough to see him and then died. So my father took him and had him opened up.
Had
Look-
her open up.
Her up, that's right. Thank you. And opened her up and found she was loaded with glass. Somebody had fed the dog glass.
Oh, wow.
About the chicken.
Oh, we had a.
fed a chicken glass?
No,
No,
no. We had a one-legged chicken. And we did.
One-legged chicken.
Yeah, my mother was rocking the rocking chair, rocking me. The chicken got behind me. My father loved animals, chickens, pigeons, you name it. So my father was rocking back, my mother was rocking back and forth like this. And the chicken got behind her, broke the leg. So he just had a little stump. So the chicken would be fed at a certain time, and she'd come jumping up, and you could hear her coming up the steps. Bloop, 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 and that's just that one leg. And my father would feed the chicken. So now my mother and father go away on vacation, and they leave my aunt there to take care of the chicken. And the smaller kids, my sister Stella and myself. And they took the older kids with them. So my father came back, they came back off vacation.
It's perfectly fine.
And my father's listening for the chicken, he doesn't hear the chicken coming up to get fed. So he says, Ruby, That was my aunt. He said, Ruby, where's the chicken? She said, oh, we had them Sunday. He said, you what?
Didn't?
I said, yeah, we needed something to eat, so we had the chicken. My father wouldn't talk to her ever again, and he wouldn't, well, after about 2 years, he'd just say, yeah, that's it. But he wouldn't talk to her. Every time he had, here comes that chicken killer.
I thought everybody back then was a chicken killer. You had to be.
Yeah, well, but
that
not
was
a pet
a favorite
chicken.
chicken.
It was a pet chicken.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
Yeah, it was a pet chicken. My father, like I say, he just loved animals. And he raised pigeons, you know. He had two small tiger cats, you know, and he had it declawed and all. And
Ocelots.
Yeah, ocelots. He had 2 lows.
I have them.
Yeah, and so he, like I say, he just cared for animals more than anything else.
Uncle Bill, and when you were going through your childhood, did you have some like rough times where you go, daggone, it's a rough year, I mean economically, or because you,
Well, when I was young, there wasn't such thing. Only at supper time when my father came home that there was anything on the table to eat, because he wanted to make sure there was always food on the table at supper time for him. And actually during the day, there was nothing to eat. You ate mangoes, and we
from the trees, whatever you found.
yeah, and mangoes, and you know, we even got the Nancy.
The nuts, I like that.
Actually, you know, like the star apples and things like that. And
Government mansion.
well, yeah, because what I used to do, now I'm saying, I'm 5 years old. And the first time the woman that used to come over the house, she had a boyfriend that lived, not lived, but he was stationed up there on Ancon Hill. So she took me up there, and I'm only 5 years old, and she took me up there, and we had to go through the jungle to get up there. And she took me up there, and all the soldiers gave me sandwiches, and they gave me, you know, not peanut, but jelly and bread and all. And so now I know where I can get a meal.
Yeah.
So every day I know what time the lunch wagon comes up there. So that's where I would go. I'm 5 years old, and I'd go through the jungles and all like that, and get up there, and they'd feed me and everything else. Now, when I didn't want to climb that hill to go up there, I knew another place, the governor's mansion.
Oh yeah, right around there.
Yeah, by Gorgas Hospital.
Sure, on the back door.
Yeah, I go around the back door, and the cook always fixed me something to eat. You know.
Uncle Bill, you were a beggar boy.
Yes. I used to run the streets, and that's what Dennis couldn't understand about me. One day,
Dennis, you
Tommy,
mean your oldest brother?
no, your husband.
Oh, okay.
We were talking in there about pot, about smoking pot, and I said, "No, I never in my life. I had people around me that smoked pot, but I never did." He said, "Oh, you were so street smart. You used to run the streets." I said, "Yes, I did. I used to shine shoes. I used to sell newspapers, and I used to do that. I used to run with all the black boys selling newspapers. And when I'd go down there to buy my newspaper, they'd get the orange like this. And then they suck all the juice out, and then they get the thing and heave it at me. Well, they catch you on this side. Well, when you turn around here, you get 3 on this side. So the only thing for you to do is to keep your head there, grab your newspaper,
And run.
and that's where I learned how to run.
Because you were in competition with them.
Yeah.
They didn't want you doing
Yeah,
that.
actually, a white boy, the only white boy out there running with the color guys, and they didn't care for it, you know.
Yeah.
And the same thing, shining shoes, you know, they do the same thing right on J Street, when, you know, with the sailors and all like that. And I used to shine shoes.
But you know, our generation never did that. I did some of it, but many of our generation now, and the generations come, if you don't do it all for them,
Yeah.
you're absolutely clueless how to
Yeah.
move forward. But back then, that
Well,
was the time to move forward.
There was no, I didn't have a father who made a lot of money, and what money he had, he spent on booze.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any lot of food that you go in the refrigerator and say, hey, there's nothing here to eat, and you got a refrigerator load of its food.
Yeah.
Actually, you went in there, and I'll tell you exactly what they had one of these old refrigerators with a big motor up on top.
Yeah.
You open that up, and because we had an ice box for quite a while, and then got a little more sophisticated and got that type of refrigerator. I'll tell you what was in there all the time. A bottle of water. There was 2 bottles of water. One, my father liked to drink out of the bottle. So my mother said, I don't like to drink water and it tastes like whiskey.
Yeah.
He'd take his whiskey and drink some water. So she had another bottle. So there was 2 bottles of water and a can of condensed milk.
And that was all that was in the refrigerator?
Yeah, and that condensed milk, my mother liked it with her tea. And she'd have it with her tea. And I used to go in there, and it was that sweet milk, you know, and I'd put some in my hand like this. And my mother said, Bill, what are you doing in the refrigerator? They always call it ice box. I said, what are you doing in the ice box? I said, nothing.
Nothing.
And I'll be licking that condensed milk because, you know, it's like a treat, you know.
Yeah.
But
You used to go diving. Tell me about the water. Where'd you go?
this one here took up diving, okay? Well, she wanted to dive. She said that later on that she wanted to skydive too. I'm glad she didn't take that up. But her mother says she wants to go diving. So I said, well, let her go diving. She said, oh no, you gotta go with her. Now, so I said, yeah, okay, I'll go with her.
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
had to go through the whole thing, you know, carrying each other across the pool and everything and doing
Yeah.
this. And
Margarita swimming pool.
and we went, now, our finals and all like that, what we had to do is throw our tank down at the bottom of the pool, throw our mask and everything down at the bottom of the pool. So we had to go down there and, you know, put this equipment on. And you stay
Oh, underwater.
underwater, everything
So in
underwater.
case everything went wrong.
So you had to go down, dive down, free dive, and you go down there and you put all the equipment on.
So once you learn how to do that, you were telling me there were some cliffs with really clear water down at the bottom. And it
No,
sounded
that was in San
absolutely,
Andres.
that sounded absolutely
That was
gorgeous.
San Andres.
Is that still there? Is it still there?
Yeah,
San
San
Andres.
Andres, yeah,
Coast of Nicaragua,
yeah,
And it's called San what?
Andres.
San Andres.
San Andres. How do you spell it?
SANANDRES.
I want to go there sometime.
It belongs to Colombia,
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's owned by Colombia, but close by Nicaragua.
but it belongs to Colombia.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Colombia.
No,
I'd
no,
love to skip that.
But
It's an island.
we went and took the course. Now, this I have to,
Now, go ahead. What was
Okay.
that?
Okay. So do you want to finish your story on
Yeah.
the water?
well, what it was, when
Sweet milk.
we were taking this course,
Uh-huh.
and you had to throw everything down to the bottom pool and you had to put everything on. So you dive down, the first thing you want to put on is your mask so you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But actually the first thing you grab is your regulator to get air. So while you can get some air and all like that, and the next thing you want to do is put your mask on. Once you get your mask on and all like that, the next thing you want to do is put your tanks on. The last thing you put on is your flippers. Now, whether you put on the left one or the right one, it doesn't matter, because flippers that go on either feet. My daughter's down there, and she's going, and you know, they're timing her and everything else, and she's down there. First, she put one on the left foot, and she stretched her foot out to the right. She took it off, and she put it on the right foot, and one of the instructors that was there was Lenny Bell. He was down there watching, and he's cracking up watching her, and she's trying. No, that don't look right.
So you're holding your breath the whole time?
No.
No, I had the regulator.
Yeah, she had the tank on and everything. The last thing that goes on is the flippers. But she's wasting a lot of time putting the flippers on, yeah. Well, anyway, about my grandmother, I had a grandmother living in Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
What was her name, do you remember?
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth.
Okay. Mary Elizabeth Hall.
No.
Mary Elizabeth what?
Well, it was Gilbert one time, then she remarried, and that was the stepfather that my father hit.
Yeah, but you don't know her maiden name, right?
No, her maiden name, no, I know her, she, Gilbert at one time, then she was, her name was Shuck.
How-
Schuck.
So that was her maiden name?
No,
That was her.
that was second
step-
cousin.
Okay.
And then, my other grandmother on my mother's side now lived in Panama. And her name was Elizabeth. What was her middle name? I couldn't tell you, I couldn't remember. I know, but it was Elizabeth. And her name was Hall. And she lived in Panama, and she had a room in Panama because she was blind. But she used to make her own tea and stuff like that, and that she could do. And I carried lunch for her every day. My mother would make her lunch, and I'd go there because she was very independent, wanted to live by herself, didn't want to live with anybody. And that's exactly the same way she died. She was, lived by herself. But she,
On the one hand, that's sad, but on the other hand, there's nothing to eat in your refrigerator anyway, so might as well be by yourself and drink.
no,
your
at
tea.
that time, it was a little better. My
Yeah.
mother could make lunch, a lunch for her and all like that, and it was a little better.
So why did she leave Jamaica and go to Panama?
Because the rest of the family was down there, her two daughters. And this is where you come in, see? People wondered where the twins came from. My mother was a twin. The baby died at birth. And that's why hardly anybody knew there was any twins in our family.
There's
And,
twins in ours too.
And that's where the twins came from.
Because it always shows up on
There's twins.
grandmother's side.
Well, there's twins in my family too.
Yeah,
One of my first cousins had a boy and a girl.
yeah.
So-
But my mother was a twin.
And their father had twin cousins.
So that made it more
And
stronger
I
then.
had twin cousins.
And now everybody has twins. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Twins, triplets,
Yeah.
quads, quints. You know.
But I know my mother hardly ever talked about it,
Well, it wasn't anything to
Yeah,
say.
but a lot of the family didn't even know really. But she had told Sheila, Dennis' sister there. She told Sheila about it, and she told me, I was the youngest and all, and I was the last born, so I was close to my mother. I wasn't close to my father, I was more close to my mother. They took a picture of me one time in the house there, and it was my white hair and everything, and it looked just like my mother.
Yeah.
But I look more like my mother's side of the family than my father. Now, like my brother Dennis, he looked more like my father, and my brother Bucky, the same way. They had that same look.
Well, what else do you remember about your grandparents? Because that would be
Yeah.
you guys' great
But
grandparents.
It's not really,
Well,
now
he's a great
Oh, yeah.
uncle. He's a great uncle.
so,
Yeah.
in, my grandmother, the one that lived in Panama, there wasn't much to say
She was
about her.
blind.
Yeah, she was blind.
She went blind with some sort of eye disease, or
Yeah,
did
right.
she get poked in the eye?
Cataracts.
Okay, cataracts.
Yeah, cataracts. And, but the one up there in, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, she was a spunky little thing. And she had,
Smoky Hill?
Spunky.
Spunky.
Wow.
Alright, I'm gonna help Robin.
so anyway, she had a lot of these grapes and apples. And so I'd go there and she had these, just like wine grapes, but they're just sweet as can be. And I'd say, Granny, can I have some grapes? She'd give me she'd count them out, and she'd just give me about 3 or 4 of them. Now, behind, she had an old barn there that was run down, and nobody ever used it. It was a run-down barn. Had these green grapes that grew wild, and I could get a whole bunch of these things and just stuff myself. I said, why should I ask her for grapes? You only give me 3 or 4 grapes. So I used to go there and eat that. And the same thing with the apples. she'd get an apple, and a nice red apple, and she cut a little section, and she just gave me one little section. They had these green apples in the back.
Is that spunky or cheap? What is it?
Both.
Spunky, when you're spunky, you know, like you got a lot of
Energy.
energy or life in you, you know. So she, her and her sister used to come up, and this is where there's a. Now they were Indians. As far as I was concerned, there was Indian in the family. Now my brother Dennis said, no, it's just when my father used to get drunk. He'd always say, you know, that he had Indian in him. But I saw my grandmother and her sister, and I always remember it. And they'd get out there and they'd argue, you know, but the features, you know, you could see the features. And where's Carlisle, Pennsylvania? Indian Reservation.
What's the name of the city?
Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Carlisle.
That was for you, Karen.
What's the Indian reservation got to do with it?
Because
That's where they
They
live.
were black.
the Indians,
There were Indians?
yeah,
Blackfoot.
Blackfoot.
They were, see, that's interesting.
Yeah, all these
You said she
Indians.
was spunky, you should have said she was a Blackfoot Indian.
That was
Yes,
never
we
determined what, if she was Indian or what. My brother Dennis said no, there was no Indian. My father just used to get drunk
And
and say.
Maria used to say, no, my mother was born in England.
Yeah, well,
See,
remember-
everybody wants,
the reason why Maria, I'll give you a little reason behind that. And I myself a lot of times said the same thing.
Maria's his sister.
The reason behind that was because of my mother, okay? Actually, people who came from Jamaica and came down to the canal
The Blackfoot.
were black,
Yep.
okay? And so my mother never wanted to be classified in that group because they looked down on the black at that time. So my mother never wanted to be there, but she came from Jamaica. But she didn't want people to know this. And the same thing with my sister Mary. She never wanted people to know that my mother was born in
Better say
Jamaica.
you're from Europe than you're from one of the islands.
Weren't there some people that had to be white in Jamaica? Like your
Yes,
mother
there
for
was
starters?
They were English.
They were English.
And didn't somebody have to be like the traders or the,
You're right.
or the plantation
No, I mean, it
owners
was
or
an
the-
English colony. So in an English colony, you have,
Everything.
you got all kinds of people from England going there, running the business, having the business and everything else.
So now
You
you're gonna
had
tell us that she came from a
plantations.
plantation owner family.
No, she didn't. Actually, he was import. You know, he was in the import-export business. That's all he was. You know, you know, like having a big warehouse and exporting some of the products from Jamaica. And
I'm
that's
just
what he
looking to
was.
see if there's royalty anywhere in the family.
Royalty? No, I have no bit of royalty.
Uncle Bill, couple questions. One, how was it, I mean, at age 12 or 13 or 14, you could go out to a movie, you could you were grounded at 6 o'clock in the evening? Was it pretty much a wide open deal, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, my mother had a hard time keeping track of it. She even put dresses on me, and I'd go out with a dress
And what was that about?
Okay, that's odd.
to keep me in the house because I was wild, and she couldn't keep me in the house. She used to take a key and put it up high where I couldn't get it, and I'd get a chair, climb up there, and climb up and get the key, open the door. I'm talking about 4 or 5 years old, and get in there, and she didn't know what to do with me. She put my sister's dress on me. And I'd go downstairs and, you know, and my friends were playing marbles or something. Don't you say a word.
I'll kick your ass.
Yeah. But this is what I,
Was that because you were looking for lunch at the army base and stuff
no,
like
I
that?
was just looking for trouble all the time. I was always in trouble. I was always in trouble.
Set fire to Ancon.
Yeah,
Post
I called post
Adrian,
office.
what's where
He
you
said
come
I
from?
called post office. Me and another guy, we went up there and they had all these old papers. fact, this guy lived on top of the post office, his family lived on top of the post office.
And you helped him set fire to his
And,
home?
and he had a box of matches, I said, let's go down and make a bonfire. So we went down there and gathered up all the paper and made a bonfire. After we had the bonfire, and first it was my fire, and I put it out. And then he made one, and by that time somebody came down and smelled the smokes and hollered at us, so we come running out. And we always wore these cowboy, and I wore the Indian suit, you know. So we would always play cowboys and Indians. So I didn't have any shoes on. I come running out and I run into Shorty, the policeman, and I ran into him and all like that. Well, he didn't think anything of it, and I ran on home. So I knew what I had done. I knew I was in trouble. So I ran in the bathroom to take a bath, which was unusual. So I go in there to take a bath and all like that, and I asked my mother if she could send somebody over to get my shoes at Georgie's house. And she said, well, after you take your bath, you can go over there. I said, no, I don't want to go over there. She says, why not? I said, well, there was two little colored boys trying to set fire to the
Always
post
blame
office,
the
and I don't want to get
boss.
blamed, boy.
Always blame the boss.
But you're not colored.
Put your
Why
mother
do they
together.
think it's you? You're not colored. And so what happens, pretty soon there's a knock at the door. It's the policeman. And who squealed on me was my own brother. Policeman stopped and said, hey, do you guys know anybody around here that wears cowboy and Indian suits? My brother volunteered right away. He said, yeah, my brother wears Indian suits.
Which brother?
The policeman.
Which brother?
Bucky.
That's why he became a cop.
Yeah, that's why he became, because he was a squealer, and always been a squealer.
Always was a squealer.
He's gonna like that one.
Bucky, you hear that?
So anyway, he squealed on me, and so my mother got me and she said, come on out, the policeman wants to see you. I said, I'm not going out there. He's not gonna haul me out to jail. So I ended up getting a beating from my mother. She said, wait until your father comes home. So I waited for him, and when my father came home, I got another beating. I got double headers. But I was always in trouble. One time I was at the commissary and I climbed up on the roof, just horsing around.
Which town was this?
It's Ancon.
Income.
And I was on the commissary roof and horsing around. My friend was down below, so he yelled, hey Bill, you better get out of there, here comes a policeman. So I jumped off the roof onto the ground. The policeman had me by the back of the pants, picked me up, hauled me down to the police station. I told him I wasn't stealing anything, I was just playing around.
Searching.
Yeah, and so anyway, they gave me a break, they wrote it up, you know. But I was always in trouble when I was a kid, I wasn't doing things.
How old were you when you had your first fight? How old were you? I mean, real fight.
I can't remember, I was fighting the time it came out, I was
Really?
fighting. I love to fight though, I really love to fight. I went to a school in Ancon,
Right, I did too.
and what we would do was walk around the school waiting on the bells.
All right.
You walked in a certain area, and anybody else, they better move, because that was your spot. If not, you had a fight. And so this new kid came in there, and this guy, George Downing, was walking.
Down.
Yeah, George Downing was just a little short guy. And so he's walking, and this guy, his name was Patrick Ochoa. And Patrick Ochoa goes and knocks him off on the sidewalk. So George tells me, he says, oh, he just knocked me off. I says, switch places, let's see if he's gonna knock me off. So I got over there, and we were walking around. Well, he went to do the same thing, so I hauled up and let him have it. So at that same time, the bell rang, and he says, oh, well, we'll fight at lunchtime. I said, that's right. So at lunchtime, I'm waiting for him to come out, and we went over to the place, it was the Masonic temple. a nice little field there.
You were gonna fight at a temple?
Well, no,
That's
outside.
Masonic.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's not- it
Yeah,
doesn't count.
because you're not Catholic, you don't count. So we went over there, and I started fighting with him, beating the heck out of him. And he said, "Oh, I gotta go eat. I gotta go eat." And I grabbed him over, and I hit him again, you know. And I gotta go eat, and I just kept on pounding the heck. And I got tired of pounding him. I said, "Go eat." I got tired of pounding him, you know.
That's funny.
That was part of my childhood growing up. I was just
And you went to the Navy when you were like 17? You joined the Navy?
no.
When did you join the
I was
Navy?
quite old. I was about 23.
Oh, I thought you were
Oh,
younger.
what were you doing before then?
I worked as a security guard. The same job I came back to, more or less.
Well, then where'd you meet Mary?
When I was in Navy, up in, she was from New Bedford. I met her in a place called Fall River at an amusement park. And we started, they had a dance there, a dance hall, and I was dancing with her and jitterbugging. And the minute I threw her out and she fell on the floor, I said, "Oh, what did I get myself into? Let me get away from this woman as fast as I can." You know? So I used to, I'd go visit her and everything else. And I used to stand by because her girlfriend, also one of the guys that was on the ship with his girlfriend went out with him. And I used to stand watches for him so he could go over and see the girl. And Mary used to get mad. She said, "Oh, you stand by for him so he can come over and see Rosalie, and you don't come over and see me, you know?" And I said, "Okay," so I try to.
Love at first sight, right?
Because
All right.
I would go see her and all like that, but then, you know, my ship was in Boston, and I had a girlfriend in Boston as well. So,
Is your name Gilbert?
so a lot of times I would get this phone call, you know, at the ship, and they'd say, "Hey, Gilbert, you got a call here," and I'd go out there on the pier, get on the phone. I didn't know who it was, which one it was, and I'd play it off. "Are you coming over tonight?" And well, I don't know. And, you know, I keep her talking for a while, and she said, "Well, I'll meet you at the skating ring if you do come over." And I knew exactly the one from Boston. Yeah.
Of course not, I can. I'm already met this
So
other one.
I'd go over there and meet with her and everything else. So this buddy of mine that was going out with a girlfriend. I said, "Hey, I can fix you up a date, you know." So I fixed him up a date. We went out together and everything else. So now this guy believes in telling his girlfriend everything. So when he goes back there to New Bedford, he tells his girlfriend, "Oh yeah, I went out with another girl in Boston." Now she gets all upset. And, "Oh, we're going out together and you're going with another girl?" And she said, "Well, we're breaking up. We're through now." "I don't know why you got mad. Bill introduced me to the girl. He had a girlfriend and all that."
Oh, down here.
And his girlfriend's not mad at him. Come
Give her
on.
time.
Because I don't tell her these things, you know. I don't come up and say, "Yeah, I got another girlfriend in Boston." You know?
Wow.
So finally, when I went in there, she was very upset, and I asked her, "What's the matter with her?" Said, "Well, she finally had a
That ain't
girlfriend
humor.
in Boston." You know?
No humor.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend in Boston. I said,
So how old were you when you got married?
I was about 25, and my wife had just turned 16.
Whoa! Stop the camera!
They have a
Radio.
Stop the camera!
judicial.
People go to jail nowadays for that.
Oh, they get married, that's what they do.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't that my wife was even pregnant.
Rob, they couldn't.
She wasn't pregnant or nothing. So I didn't know about this till we went over to church. She had to get her, because we had a church
Oh,
wedding.
yeah.
So she had to get her birth certificate, and she had to get her baptism papers from the church. So we go over there, and the priest, he's looking at it, and he's saying, "Why are you getting married?" So I thought, question. I said, why do people usually get married, Father? It's usually they're in love, right? And that's why we're getting married. And I didn't realize that until we went over to City Hall. And her mother had to sign for her, yeah? And so we got over there, and when they said, well, your mother has to sign for you, she said, yeah, well, she's on her way over. So why does your mother have to sign for you? And she said, because I'm underage. I said, well, how under are you? And she says, I'm 16. Well, I wanted to turn around and run that thing. So I said, nah, I'm going this far, I might as well go all the way. So
Yeah, it's a predicament, it really
yeah,
is.
so now, the day of the wedding, well, the night before the wedding, the father came over and took me and my two buddies, the sailors, out for a few drinks. But one of the sailors took a liking to one of the neighborhood girls that lived close to my wife. So he's over there and all like that, trying to make out with her. And her boyfriend came there, so they got in a big argument and a tussle. So my mother-in-law comes down and she gets into it because she knows these guys are with me. And so now my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, they're divorced, you know. And so, but she gets into it, and they come over and get this other sailor I was with, and me and my father-in-law and this other sailor are still drinking there. Came over and got us. Well, my wife, Mary, she came over and to get this other sailor to try to stop this other sailor from fighting. So when she came over, I knew something was going on, so I came over. I said, what's going on? She said, Tucker beating up on this guy over there. So I said, okay. So we go back over there. We're gonna go back over there. And I'm mad because he's sort of ruining it and everything, you know. And so actually, I ran in and I said, what's the matter with you, Tucker? And I pushed him, you know. So he pushed me back. And I swung, and when I swung, my mother-in-law walks in there, and I cold cocked her.
Does everybody get cold cocked in this?
So she went down. She went down and she got up. She said, this is what you're getting into. This is who you're marrying, you know. And she raised all kinds of things. And even, like I say, the next day, you know, I'm going up there, and I'm on the altar, and I keep going through my mind, am I doing the right thing? Am I getting married? And she's so young, you know.
Everybody wonders, you know, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, and I just wondered, I said, she was so young and all like that. And so actually what I ended up doing is raising my daughter rather than anything else. And that's why I spoiled her so rotten, you know, I spoiled her rotten.
I had fun.
Huh?
I had fun.
Yeah, I spoil her the same way. It's like my wife and all like that, she cooked. I took care of the clothes. I did the housework. I did everything. And even this one nowadays, she's getting into the thing. She'll bring.
Use Chinese laundry.
Yeah,
He's the best laundry man.
I do her laundry for her and everything else.
You need a spot removed from something? Bring a Chinese laundry man here.
Yeah, I do all these things, you know. I've always been that way, you know. A lot of people, well, you know, that's a woman's job. To me, there was no such thing as a woman's job or what was a man's job.
But that's unusual for a Gilbert in a Latin raised man.
And in one of our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd go out there.
And a scrapper too.
Yeah.
You could really find.
Combination of everything. But I'd go out there, you know, I'd do anything. I've had all kinds of jobs. There was no job below me. When I first came to the States, after I retired from the canal, you know what I was doing? I was cutting grass with a lawnmower. I'd never cut grass in all my life. Down in Panama, they had a ground maintenance would come in and cut your grass for you. So I'm out there cutting grass. I don't know the first thing about it. And I'm out there cutting grass and everything. And then the owner there of the project there says, I'm going to give you a couple kids to work with. You know, I'm thinking, kids what, maybe 20, 21, 13 and 14-year-old kids. So I'd go to work and all I get, Hey, Bill, could you let me have a quarter? I'd give him a quarter here, a quarter there, a quarter there. It's costing me to work there, you know? But I would give the kids, you know, they wanted. So the owner came by one day and he says, where are the kids? I said, oh, they're probably around one of these stores getting some ice cream or something. Because they were always asking me for money, you know. They're around here getting ice cream or a soda or something. He says to me, you are supposed to look after those kids. I said, excuse me, look after the kids? I said, you see me working, don't you? I said, now the kids, whatever they're doing is fine with me. He said, oh, no, you're supposed to keep track of them. So listen, I don't even babysit my own kids now. They're all grown up. I said, now I'm gonna start babysitting other people's kids. Goodbye. And I left. But it was,
So it was a landscaping firm.
yeah. That was one of my first jobs, and then I got a job as a security. From there, I went to work in construction, keeping up maintenance on heavy equipment, vehicle construction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked there from, let's see, 91. I went there in 85, so about 6 years.
And then retired again.
Yeah, and then I retired from there. Things got very slow and things like that. And I retired. That's when I went with Sheila. Well, we went that first. We went down to the reunion, and I went with my brother Dennis and Herb and Skeet, and we went down there. And then when we came back and all like that, Sheila and I took a trip across country. My wife Mary didn't care for that. She didn't like Sheila.
Sheila Gilbert Bulkey.
Yeah,
This
She
is,
didn't-
John, this is your dad's sister.
yeah, she
It's
didn't.
always
She
there.
didn't care for
Do you need
her
to switch it
anyway, you know,
over?
and then
Cool.
yeah, because
You
know,
went cross country with
Yeah.
Sheila.
you see, everybody wants to do something in their lifetime. There's a lot of things I have done, like diving and different things like this. Those are things I really did want to do. And the next thing was going across country. I always wanted to travel, you know, those Grand Canyon and everything else. And I was able to do that. I got the good opportunity to do it, to drive with Sheila and go across country, to New Mexico and everything else. And I really enjoyed it. And but, my wife didn't care too much for me.
My husband hates to be alone. I think it's because no one's pouring him coffee.
Yeah. Well, that I know, but.
Would you like some coffee? Because you're
No,
him
no,
down.
I'm fine. Let me tell you something. At work now, he has to pour his own coffee.
Because it got to be like an issue.
No,
Human resources
actually,
issue?
the girl he has, a receptionist,
Sheila.
Sheila doesn't do any of these things. She, now, somebody, before, Barbara used to take the mail out, the second haul of mail. Not Sheila. You bring mail down, you better take it out yourself if you want it to go out. She's not going to do it.
Was that because the phone rings all the time or just because it's beneath
Well,
her?
Actually, no, she was hired as a receptionist, and she has other duties there.
Yeah.
That doesn't include, she makes coffee. That she knows she has to do to make coffee. But as far as serving people coffee,
Oh, wait a minute.
no, she doesn't serve anybody coffee there. See, I never had somebody serve me coffee.
Well, it makes sense that she doesn't do it. For one thing, he can do it himself, but the other thing, that phone rings all the time. And then if you're not answering it, everybody chews on
Yeah,
it.
but she has a portable, and then she has a kitchen phone, she's in there or whatnot. But that's not the idea. The whole idea, especially the mail, the girls upstairs in the county used to take advantage of that. They're slow getting stuff out, and now they should have it out. And they go out at lunchtime, they go buy a mailbox. They go out and eat lunch. They take about an hour out for lunch supposedly, they take more than that, but they go out there for a lunch break for an hour. They go by mailboxes, mail rooms, you name it, post office they go by. But they won't do it.
They won't pick up the mail?
No, they expect,
Why don't they?
because of laziness, that's the only thing I can say, because they're out there, might as well, hey, I got some mail I gotta drop off, I'll go ahead and drop it off. So Sheila was there one day, and they had a pickup. Mailman comes in the morning, and then at 4, about after 4, I used to have, it was Robin and then Debbie.
Mhm.
And Debbie, they used to carry the mail out all the time. And take a load off, because before that, actually, remember the other Barbara that we had down there as a receptionist?
Mhm.
Well, Barbara used to do those things, and then after it got too much for her, so they gave it to me, and I had Debbie when Robin was looking for me. Robin used to do it. So actually, when Barbara left and all like that, and Sheila came there, this one group, they didn't know who was going to pick up the afternoon mail, so this girl, Judy came up and says, "Oh, I got this stuff to go out. It has to go out this evening, tonight, mail. Has to go out today. Who's taking the mail out?" And Barbara's not there, Sheila's there. Sheila looked over and said, "I guess you're taking it out." So she walked away, she was a little upset, you know. She was a little upset about it. I said, "Well, that's it, that's the way it goes, you know."
Everybody takes their own mail out?
Yeah, I mean, if the mailman don't pick it up, you better take it yourself.
Yeah.
Or wait until the next day when the mailman gets there, because this last minute thing, they come down there and do this, and, get the mail, and, drop it off in there, and they expect somebody to take it out in the evening. And she said she's not doing it.
You don't have to go, because you came in your own car.
Mhm.
I can't stop the camera, I don't know how to do that.
So I have to stay here and talk.
You have
Is
to
that what
sit
you're
here and
trying-
talk until I run out of time. You can hug your daughter goodbye if she wants. Yeah. You don't have to hug the cat. Just shake the chair and the cat will go away.
Push her off.
Just shake the chair, he didn't want to touch it.
Prana, get down. Get down.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to tell us about your family that you think is important?
No, I think I sort of covered everything, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys came. Thank you. But I don't know how to stop the camera, so. I don't know what your grandmother who went blind, what did she do for a living?
Nothing really.
No? Yeah. And I always thought it was Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It wasn't Harrisburg. It was
No.
never Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, I had an Uncle Dennis that lived in Harrisburg. Sunbury, I had Uncle Jim that lived in it. And then there was a sister, and she lived there in, she lived right outside of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. A little town there. But they were sort of scattered around now. Uncle Jim, what he did is, he was a painter.
Yeah. And it was Germans, right? Weren't y'all Germans?
Well, yeah, German descent.
Mm-hmm.
And in that area. But that was a funny thing, because my father, there's his father was German descent. But that's what I say, they lived close to this reservation. Carlisle, Pennsylvania is noted for being an Indian reservation. They brought Indians from all over,
Mm-hmm.
and they marched them all over, even from the west, they marched them all the way over to different areas. And Carlisle was one of them, in the reservation. And that's why I say, I have no proof of it. I have never been able to prove it or what, whether there's Indian in our family or not. But I really don't care what way you go.
Yeah.
But my brother Dennis used to say, "Oh no, Said, Dad used to say that when he got drunk,
Yeah, he probably didn't know either. He probably didn't know.
No, my father always said he was part Indian. Yeah, man. 1/3 Indian, that's what he used to say.
Okay, so Indian and Jamaican, I guess Jamaican with English descent probably, just
But
because.
did the Gilberts change their name from a German? I know, I've known people.
Yeah, also, the French carries Gilbert,
Mhm.
and the French also carries Gilbert. Germans especially. use
But
it.
you're thinking it's German descent, not,
Yeah, it's German, yeah. See, I never realized this, I always thought it was German. And when I went in the Navy, it was funny, we're getting ready to go on the ship, and we have our duffel bags there. And I go to pick up the duffel bag, and I see Gilbert on it, and I go to pick it up. So this guy said, hey, you got my duffel bag there. So I looked there, and it's Robert Gilbert. I said, oh, I guess I do have you. But Navy, you only use your initials, you know. So I didn't look that close, I just saw Gilbert, and I grabbed Gilbert. So his name was Robert Gilbert. So we go aboard the ship. Now, him and I are just actually seamen. And at that time, they called him Seaman Deuce, and then you went up for Seaman. We were both Seaman Deuce, and we went aboard the same ship together. We get aboard the ship, engineer officer, his name is William E. Gilbert. And so, actually, there's 3 Gilberts aboard the ship.
what is a seaman deuce?
That's just 2 stripes.
Oh,
Yeah, 2 little stripes, 2 white stripes, or sometimes 2 little red stripes. Yeah, and then afterward, you become seaman, you got 3 of them. Then you go for your rate, whatever your rate you pick, and then you go up from 3rd class, then 2nd class, and 1st class. And from there, you go to chief. But, so there's 3 Gilberts aboard, and we were always getting each other's mail. So after I got out of the Navy, I get this letter, it's William Gilbert, and it's from New York. It's a parking ticket. You gotta appear in court. Now this was Lieutenant J.G. that was on the ship. And so I get this parking ticket. What am I gonna do with a parking ticket? But I have to appear in court in New York, and I'm down in Panama at this time. So I don't care whether they take him to go in jail, so I do the parking ticket as well.
before I forget, I wanted to ask you about your job on the canal. Didn't you run the mules there for a while?
I had
And
a
can you
job,
tell the camera
yeah.
what a mule is?
It's a locomotive, it pulls the ships through the canal. And actually on the smaller ships you use 4 locomotives, 2 on each wall. You have 2 on the side wall, 2 on the center wall. Also you got east side and west side. And so you can bring in 2 ships at a time.
Into the canal?
Into
Because
the
they were
locks.
small, okay.
Into the locks. It's all called the canal.
Mhm.
When you bring them in, you're bringing them into the locks.
Okay,
And each lock is what they call a chamber.
okay.
Each chamber is 1,000 feet long, 110 feet wide. And actually, some of your big carriers that carries these big container carriers, they carry what you'd say about 109-foot beam. So you figure it's 110 feet wide. And you have a 109-foot beam, you only have a half foot on each side. And Queen Elizabeth, Queen II, she came through there. She was just a little too long. And so we had what they call intermediate gates. They had to open that up, and we had to go a little farther up. And she was right up there, you know. Just enough room to close the gates or open the gates. That's how tight it was. But they used to bring some big ships through there. And I ran the locomotives that pulled the ships.
Did you pull the ship through and then you run to the next lock and pull the ship through again? Or was there someone?
You pick it up, like on Atlantic side, for instance. We pick it up, they come up into the locks. And when they come up to the locks, you have a little rowboat, man in the rowboat, and he goes out there with what they call a messenger line. and he goes there, and the seamen up there on the ship, it's what they call deckhands, they're from the canal, and they take the heaving line, throw the heaving line down there, and this guy ties it onto another heaving line. That heaving line's tied onto a messenger line, which is tied on, eventually, is put on the locomotive's cables. So he goes out there in a little rowboat, and they throw it down, and he ties that. He goes back aft, and goes around the side.
This takes forever.
Huh?
It takes forever. He's in his little rowboat.
Yeah, it's a rowboat. And you got two men in the rowboat, you know, one doing the rowing, the other doing the securing the lines and all. When their ship comes in, and they're supposed to come in at 3 miles an hour, sometimes they come in a little too fast, but they're supposed to be 3 miles. The locomotives, that's what the locomotives told the ship, that in 3 miles an hour. And when we're coming back to pick up a ship, we can run between 6 and 9 miles an hour. Only in certain areas you have to slow, bring it to a stop, change speed back down to 3 miles, go around curves and come down inclines and all. But we would pick up the ship, and we'd sit there waiting, and here comes the line handlers with the messengers walking along the wall. And they'd go up to the cables, you know, put it, tie it onto the cables. Guys on the ship now, they put it on the winch and start pulling the line.
Why do they call us
Over.
men messengers?
Huh?
Why do they call us men messengers?
It's a messenger line because you got heaving lines,
Uh-huh.
and this line goes right to the cable. It's a bigger line, and the nickname of it was messenger. It's just like sending a message. It's hooking the locomotives onto the ship. So once they get that line, they put it on the winch, and it's a heavier line. And they don't do this with the heaving line. So they'll put that on there, and they'll pull the cable up. Meanwhile, you're moving, and you're feeding your cables out, and you're running your locomotives. And you have one control here, and I don't know if you've ever seen a streetcar. If you ever rode a streetcar, you see the lever, same type of level. You know, you got what they call points, going to different points. You go into, actually the total is 10 points for 3 miles, then your little green light comes on. And then when you're on there and you hook onto the ship, you know, if it's, you have 2 cables. And two cables go aboard the ship. Once both cables aboard the ship, then after you hit your bell twice, because you have only one-way communication. The pilot can communicate to you, but you can't communicate to the pilot. So the only way you can do that is when you hit the 2 bells, the pilot knows you're aboard. So he'll say, number 1, commence towing. Start towing. And the same thing with the aft. Once they're on there, they give you 2 bells, the same thing.
How many years did you do that?
Oh, let's see. I guess I did it for at least 10 years.
From the 60s to the 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it for a good 10 years, and then I went down as a harbor foreman. And that's docking ships. You spot them when they come in for bunkering or for cargo. You got to set your bridge sign, and the pilot comes in there, and he brings the ship right up to the bridge sign. And the bridge sign better be in the right spot. But you bring it up there, right to the bridge sign.
Cool. Well, you know what we need to do? We need to get those papers from you too, to put on this video.
Yeah, no, I have it.
I mean, he can take a picture of it and it's on the video forever, and we can
Yeah.
also keep copies.
No, yeah, I'll get those papers. It's just that one thing of the, I'll look and see if I have anything else in there. Because I have I'm quite the person with old records.
Excellent, excellent.
I guess that's why I do such a good job at Tesoro. I
Excellent.
keep records on all the vehicles.
That's right, you've been there since 1997, it's now
Yeah.
the year 2006.
Yeah, and I've been keeping records since then, all the vehicles and all like that. before I was just keeping track of the tools and telephones and all. Now CJ does a lot of that.
And everyone on Tuscarora calls him Uncle Bill. As a matter of fact, saying this for the camera, everybody in the whole Hampton Roads area refers to you as Uncle Bill.
Yeah,
And on the door is a sign that says Uncle Bill,
Uncle Bill's office.
Uncle Bill's office.
And anytime anybody gets out of line, and they get in here and get out of line, it says, read that sign.
Says
What does that sign say?
Uncle Bill's office.
I thought you all left.
Okay. Well, let me turn this off. Thank you, Uncle Bill.
I need to, I walked
We can
for a
dream. You
while,
don't have to turn this. Leave it.
Where were you at?
Well, I only have a certain
sitting
amount
in
of
there with the guys, because there's a soft couch.
Yeah.
Couch.
We're being couch potatoes.
Oh, I need to
We're
look
getting
for
out
it.
to go.
Okay. Well, let me pull it out of the files. I've got to find something for my mom before I forget. Well, that was extremely excellent, Uncle Bill. You had a wonderful birthday and a wonderful life. And
Uncle Bill, I didn't know you were a scrounger.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's really important.
That's why I
Yes,
thought your brother thought, because I used to run the streets, I used to hit that thing. I told him,
Yeah.
that I never did.
But you pulled on that just exactly right, by the way.
Well, hey, I've seen it done so many times. And like, say when I was a harbor master down there, man, the guy says, where'd this man come from?
Mm.
Can't understand him, man. He know all the tricks.
Right around the corner. Man.
Okay, they get, on the launches, we had these flat cups. And,
Okay, break down the flat cups.
yeah,
Water
drinking,
drinking.
yeah, drinking
Water.
cups, yeah, the flat ones.
Okay.
We keep them on the launch.
Paper cup.
Yeah, paper cup, and they had the cooler.
You had me going with the flat there, man.
Yeah, so anyway, they come in, the operator said, you know, Mr. Gilbert, I just put a new box of cups out there and it's gone. He said, I really don't know what they're using it for. I said, come on, man. What do you mean you don't know what they're using it for? He said, no, because I just put there, I said, that's what causes a rapidez. You don't know what a rapidez is?
absolutely.
That's when you carry 1 pound of marijuana in your lunch bag. And when you carry 1 pound of marijuana in your lunch bag, you can't sell a whole pound to anybody on the ship. So they say, hey, you got a picture there, come on. Go there, that's a call of rapidez.
They call that five. Five or two fingers were.
Yeah. So they carry a whole pound of it.
Man.
They carry a whole pound of marijuana
Refrigerator.
in the lunch bag.
The filter.
And then they carry all these papers.
I remember until, what was the deal, Dennis? 1937? The growing and smoking of marijuana was legal in Panama. 1937.
Johnny,
Before his time, he was 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
Johnny,
28.
it had to be before I was born, because
Yeah.
after that, I can tell you, because I went into the park there with these two other guys, and man, they were smoking this stuff, and they had one, they offered it to me, and I said, no, I don't want that stuff. I like my booze, you know, I like to drink beer and whiskey and all that. I never messed around with that stuff, I never went to. My mother was a woman, you know what she
Maybe
said?
I did $55.
She says,
I think I might have gotten
You start this stuff, and then you want something
it.
stronger.
Wouldn't hurt
My
to
mother
have.
said the same thing.
Yeah, and everything else, and she says, then you're hooked on
Just
it.
take the whole thing.
You know what I told Billy, and he remembers this to this day? I told Billy, if I ever find out, because all his friends are using it now, if I ever find out that you're using any kind of drug, he believed me. I said, I'm gonna break both legs. And if you want to fix it, you're gonna have to crawl for it, you know?
Yeah. My dad had those
You
stories.
looking for?
My dad had those stories.
Tito, muchas gracias for the
Yeah.
one punch. Don't
Anytime.
forget your bottle.
No, I don't want it. You drank it all up?
No,
It's all yours.
Yeah, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
It's all yours.
Want your bottle back?
No.
Want to take some fudge to your daughter?
No.
Huh?
All right, well, let me turn this off.
Listen, this is your computer, your